Hello, welcome back to Crystal Clear Coaching with Crystal, where we like to talk about different facets and ways of how we can tune into us, tune into you. You tune into you, I tune into me. It's so important, and we're so conditioned in this world to put all the external needs, other people's would, shoulds, obligations first, beyond what is in our core, our heart, our soul, what is needed for what's most important to us. We're taught to push aside what's most important to us in order to serve the family, the partner, the friends, the kids. And there's a time and a place for that, don't get me wrong, but the most important person in your life should be you. And I did use that word, that gross word, should. I invite you to consider the best person in your life for you, to show up for you, is you. And that way, you get to empower yourself into actually going for what you want in life. Actually letting yourself show up in the ways you need to in order for those desires to become real for you. It's so fascinating, the pretzel shapes we will put ourselves in order to show up for others when we can't actually even show up for ourselves. Or we struggle to. Somehow everyone else is more important than us. And I'm never coming from a high horse sharing, because I struggle with this. I am someone who I've conditioned myself to kind of hibernate or keep myself less social, less in the world, in order to make sure I put myself first. But my real tests are when I need to actually have boundaries with people. I don't even want to say I've got to set boundaries with people, because that makes me feel like it just doesn't feel like me, because my entire life I've conditioned myself to show up for people in a stronger way, like put all my needs to the side to show up for them first. And I'm sure there's facets of my life where that was not true, but I know, for instance, in my career, my main career, working in film and TV, I am a assistant and a costume assistant, and I relatively often refer to myself as a costume minion, and I say it jokingly, and some of my friends will call me out and say, stop calling yourself a minion, you're experienced and you know what's up. But I still like calling myself that, because I'm just a cog in the wheel, but I'm also so ready to serve others in that space. The design team, the costume team, the head of costume, but also the actors, to make sure that their costume's looking good, and then thus also the director and the producers and everyone involved on the crew. Like, if I can drop everything to sew back on a button, or preemptively know that I'm going to need a repeat of a costume that's button was about to fall off and I've already got it ready, then I won't hold anyone up, I won't bother anyone. And that really served me working in film, and it really serves us working in film, because we have crews of hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, where every minute wasted is like hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars wasted. So you don't want to be wasting any of that time, the production time. And I've ingrained it so much because costume is historically one of the departments. It's more female led. It's less respectable for us to take any extra time because there's less circumstances where it's allowed, and so we've just learnt to really have to be on the 8 ball, and be of service to our own detriment sometimes. And all departments do that, don't get me wrong, in film and TV, but the point is, the career that I have mostly worked in has been to put down my needs to serve other people's needs first. And so naturally I've learnt to show up in that way really well, really well. And then in the recent years, looking at, like, really learning all this wonderful stuff as a coach, being certified as a coach in so many delicious modalities, body, like the soma, the mind stuff, the NLP, the energetics, the family systems. It has been like eye-opening to see, to notice my subconscious patterns, notice how I show up or don't show up, notice how I'm blocking myself. And there's times where I notice these things and then I think I'm going to deal with it, do something to step away from that, and then time will pass, I won't have done anything, and then in some other way it comes back up. This is your block. This is your block, Crystal. And often I'll mean to do something and I'll put it off, which is a huge pattern of mine, procrastination, putting things off. And that's serving a part of me that is a lot younger, a part of me that, in order to, show up for others, I learned, to put myself, like, later on, like, put off my own stuff. But it's also serving me to not step into the uncomfortable feeling of the unknown. And it's also really frustrating to live that experience of knowing better for yourself and consistently noticing yourself still showing up in those patterns. And I also don't want to be too hard on myself about this, because clearly it's a deep subconscious and conscious now pattern for me that I still have it showing up. Like, I did my first coaching course my coaching course for the first time, I should say, in 2021, and we're now 2026, and I have not overcome the blocks I need to in order to be showing up in a bolder way, to actually make this my viable way of earning a living. And obviously I want to be able to survive off it, that would be great, but that aside, that's not what's most important to me. It's like, I want to help people look at and understand what's at their core and what's holding them back from going for what is their truth. Like, I want the real stuff. I want the deep stuff. I want to help people find that for themselves. And I'm doing them a disservice the more that I put off the ways of stepping into embodiment of overcoming my blocks. So I just wonder, if you just take a moment, close down your eyes if you're in a space to do so, just take a deep breath and exhale longer than you inhaled. Where in your life are you consistently self-sabotaging from the things that you know you want in your life? What would it take for you to show up in a different way that could dissolve those blocks? What in a part of you, what younger, maybe even childlike part of you comes up when you say, I want to do this? And see what part of you comes up and says, no, but there's a block, that's not safe. Who are doing that lovingly, by the way, because our parts, it's a neurolinguistics programming tool, parts work. Our parts are created in one frozen moment in our past. And quite often there's a lot of our parts that stem from between the ages of 3 and 7. So that is literally a child. Your child. You as a child. That is coming up and speaking. And saying, hey, I don't think I know that this is safe. But you know what? We reacted this time when we were 7 years old. And by reacting that way, if we continue that pattern, we'll survive this time too. Makes sense, right? But we're often not recognizing that that might have been 30 years ago. And you've got parts of yourself that are stronger and way more capable that can take over the show. And that younger part of yourself can actually just chill, go play, and let the adults take over, you know? And that's a beautiful thing. But it's also noticing every time you feel triggered, there's a part of you coming up and saying, oh, hey, this isn't safe, by the way. I'm really uncomfortable. But we have to push through that discomfort enough times to prove to our system that it's survivable to do something in a different way. The way that's actually going to get us into our desired reality. It's nice to understand it all from that perspective, but to step into it and embody is clearly hard. I mean, I am, again, never coming from a high horse. I am very much learning this for myself currently, the past few years, but also just currently in general, because there's things I know I need to stop doing, there's things I know I need to start doing, that I have felt I needed to start and stop these things for a while, and I still haven't consistently taken action towards them, or away from them, or to change the subject in my brain every time they come up, you know. And that's me. That's on me. Those are my small day in, day out decisions to be making. And if I want to stay stuck in my pattern of procrastination, well, I'll just keep doing exactly what I've been doing. But if I want to move forward, I have to choose to step forward and take action and step into embodiment of all these wonderful things that I've learned. And I don't want to be so mean to myself to say I'm not embodied in anything. I definitely am, because there's no way I could be having conversations like this off the cuff and talking into different aspects of coaching and coaching work and terminologies. And yeah, there's just at the start of my journey, I wouldn't have had this all integrated. This is embodied. Talking about this is embodied for me. But talking about it where I'm hosting an event and people are paying me money in order to learn from me, learn about themselves through the space I'm holding for them. Because I really want anyone that I coach to be showing up to coach and heal themselves to a degree. They've got to have me as the coach is holding a beautiful space. Excuse me. Still recovering from that. little sickness. But yeah, that me as a coach, I cannot heal for them. I cannot make them coachable if they're not coachable. So they've got to do the work. And there is obviously immense value in me creating a space with all my trainings and everything that I've learned. I will hold a beautiful space. I will ask really good questions that they may have not thought of, you may not have thought of, to ask yourself. And I know those questions off the cuff now because I have been so obsessed with this work for many years now. And I still know there's more to embody. And like, the work's never done too. Like, it's okay. But, you know, part of me, you know, getting up early the other morning and giving myself time in the morning to do stuff that fills me up. That's a practice that I desperately need. That I've known I desperately need for years. And I've still struggled to do. And then, funnily enough, my system, which finds it's unsafe for me to show up in that way, immediately makes me sick so that I need the rest and I choose to sleep in the next 2 days. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's my system feeling threatened, not sure if it'll be safe or survivable for us to be doing that. And all it is getting up a bit earlier, not staring at my phone so much, walking around, maybe getting a coffee, moving my body a little bit. Like, it's actually a really good time. But I need to prove to myself that I can do the getting up, the not sleeping in. That's the hardest part. Once I'm up, I'm generally pretty fine, as long as I don't look too deeply at my phone, because that is also a bit of a trap. I'm sure everyone can resonate in this day and age. But yeah, the way I need to embody it would just be to start with intentionally starting my mornings for me, and also not making it mean so much like that it needs to be at a certain time or whatever, just as long as it fits into whatever I've got going on that day. Like, I think I need to let that be enough for me, at least for now, rather than trying to be hard and fast about a certain time that I need to be up by and then berating myself if I don't actually manage to do that. Yeah. I did not come on here to talk about all that. But that came out great. You just don't know. I just trust that what comes out is what needs to come out, and it's a beautiful place to be in. There's so many people in this world that don't trust themselves. And like, I have periods where I don't still, but that's usually a younger part of myself coming out and saying like, oh hey, you don't know if this is safe, and then I need to invite an older, more wizened part of myself to come in and show that we can do the thing, and then I'm good. And I just want the world to understand this about themselves. But like, since I've learned all this coaching stuff, the amount of trust I have in myself is like vastly deeper and stronger than what I had before I learned all this work. And then again, when I did my first personal development course, like, that deepened my self-trust and my abilities immensely as well. But it just went, I don't know, I'll make up some arbitrary number, but went like 50 times deeper when I became a coach, learned about coaching and looked at myself deeply in that way. But like, who I was before doing any personal development work, she's a completely different person to who I am now. And she was beautiful and wonderful and young and insecure, and I have love for her. She's part of my journey. But I'm really grateful that I got to step into learning about myself and clearing out the gunk in order to be able to show up as the person that I am now, and embodied in the things that I am embodied in now, because I am definitely embodied in some of these things. I just have things still to work on, and that's life, man. There's always more growth work to do. As much as sometimes it's really frustrating when you've been doing a lot of growth work. Trust me, I resonate. If you're one of my growth getters. Yeah. So what I actually came on here to talk about today was feeling like, how often do we feel alone? How often do you feel alone? In, a crowded room of people that you're close to. And by close to, like, that might just mean socially, family systems wise, like, maybe these people that you see day in, day out, or your flatmates, or but you don't feel emotionally and, like, energetically close to them. You feel quite closed off, and you actually feel like you can't be your full self around them. And then you might feel a certain way internally in the morning, seeing these people around you, like, just say it's who you live with, whether they're family or friends or whatever. Perhaps, you don't feel like you can be honest about what's actually at your core, what's going on for you that day. But then you step out and you step into a coffee shop. Maybe not a coffee shop, okay. You step into, maybe you go to a connection circle, and you are invited to share whatever's on your heart that day. And in a room of 20 strangers, you share something deeply happening for you that day, that these people that are close to you actually have no idea that that's all going on, that you're carrying that weight, because you don't want to worry them, or you just straight up don't feel that aligned or close with them. Isn't that, like, sad? We can't even, like, truly share our lives with some of the people that are closest to us without feeling like we're worrying them. And, like, most of the time I'm sure they'd want to know. But if there's someone that doesn't want to know, do you want that person to be so close to your life? Like, a priority in your life? Are they prioritizing you and what you need in their life? Like, obviously I want that to be after themselves, because we each need to look after ourselves first. It doesn't always happen, and it's not how we're necessarily conditioned to show up in this world. But how often, would you not tell someone that you're living with, that you see every day, how you're actually feeling? And then you go, I don't know, maybe you're on your way to work and feeling really in your feels about something, and you're, like, not able to stop yourself from just bawling on the bus or the train or the car ride to work. You're just, like, letting it all out, and you know you need it, and you're really happy that you're doing it for yourself by letting it all out. But you wouldn't let anyone in your actual life see, even though there's 100 strangers potentially around. If you're on public transport, there's 100 strangers around you that can probably see. Like, they might not know what's going on, but they can see you crying. And I'm maybe sharing this because of personal experience from today. I may have been on public transport today, having a soft moment, feeling a bit weepy, and just realizing, I'm fine, but just realizing anyone I want to share that with, like, what's actually deeply going on for me, I wouldn't want to feel judged by it. I wouldn't want to feel, I want my feelings to be honoured, and I felt like There's very few people, if any people, that would understand where I was coming from and why something is so deep for me. And I don't want it to dishonour my own lived truth and experience by sharing it with anyone that might poo-poo how I'm feeling. Not that I think any good friend would do that, but one small sentence or word can plant seeds of doubts in our mind that weren't there before, that really affect us. As much as we tell ourselves, nope, listen to your own guidance first, it's easier said than done. Anyway, that ended up being a much longer video than I intended. I will leave it there tonight, but I hope everyone is doing well. If you're ever, resonating with anything I'm saying, please feel free to, comment, like, subscribe, all that. I just intend that this message finds anyone that it's supposed to find. And yeah, I shall see you tomorrow. I'll probably have another fabulous dress on because I love my job. This has been one I've kept an eye out for a little while. It's just really fun. Anyway, it's a maxi dress. Most of my dresses are maxi dresses, and it's a good time. Hippie life forever. Anyway, I hope everyone's well, and I will leave it there and see you tomorrow. Look after yourself, please.